Sailor, you're cropped out. Hold on, let's rearrange. I know we all might have different opinions on things in the world today, but I think as far as this channel goes, we can all agree on one thing. I think we can all agree that this is the best part of this channel. I can admit it. So I get a lot of questions about Sailor. So I thought maybe I could do a video talking about life in a van with a dog. I know these videos are a dime a dozen here on YouTube and this whole van life category, but my take, I don't know. If nothing else, it's a lot of gratuitous footage of this one here. I figured I'd jump in and do a little compilation of the most commonly asked questions as far as Sailor goes. Alright, I guess that's all we're gonna get. Sailor is about 6 years old. I adopted her when she was 6 months old from the pound in Miami, Florida. She was a stray that was brought in, and I think I came in about a day later and saw her, and I adopted her. So they spayed her, and then I went and picked her up about 2 days later and brought her home. So her freedom ride, she has this like shaved stomach because she was spayed that morning, and she was just kind of, now that I know her face, she was terrified. So Sailor is a mix. She's a mutt. I did a DNA test on her because I'd done one on my old dog, and it was fascinating, and it also tests for diseases and potential things that you should be on the lookout for. So I got her a DNA test, and it came back, not surprisingly, 1/3 pit bull, 1/3 boxer, and then the last third they couldn't quite figure out what it was. All they could tell is it was a dog from the working group. She does like to do that stalking thing, and she does point, so my best guess is maybe a pointer, but I don't know what that last third is. Like I said, I know there's a million videos about this, but this is my take. There are a lot of pros and cons for living in a van with a dog, or traveling with a dog in general, because I did travel with her in my 4Runner before I lived in the van. In my humble opinion, I think the pros far outweigh the cons, but there are some definite cons, so let's talk about what those are. Pro: companionship. So it is awesome to always have someone traveling with you. Just thinking about traveling alone kind of gives me a little bit of anxiety. Not because of fear of safety or anything like that, just because I think at this point I'm so used to traveling with a dog that I can't imagine not. In my situation, I was doing a little bit of a life change, so a lot of things were up in the air. I haven't done this without Sailor, and my non-negotiable when I was looking at these jobs was that Sailor had to come with. So no matter how this was going to look, Sailor had to come with me. And because I am a park ranger and I have been seasonal up until now, I have to live in seasonal housing and dogs are not allowed. So one way around that, one of the only ways around that, is to have your own housing. So I decided to build out a van, essentially, for the most part, to bring Sailor with. Con: always cleaning. I know you've probably heard a million times how much you have to clean when you're living in a van. So if you take that amount of cleaning and multiply it times 3, I think you're going to get close to the amount of cleaning you have to do with a pet in the van with you. It is constant. Sailor is a shedder. She is shedding all the time. There is hair everywhere. There's constantly hair in the bed. In the dishes, I have to clean everything before I use them. There's constantly hair covering my clothes, hair all over the floor, the rug, everything. It's just constant cleaning. So that's how it is usually, and it's even more so if you have a pet in the van with you. Pro: because she does sleep in the bed, she makes a really good heater. She's an excellent snuggler and it is nice and warm. Con: she is a heater. So when it is hot out and she is touching me, because she always has to be touching me, it is so hot and I can't get her to not be on me. Pro: protection. So as you can imagine, having a big, somewhat intimidating looking dog is a pro. I know she's going to protect me. I know that people are more likely to keep their distance if they see her, so I definitely think it's a pro to have this extra layer of protection. Another con that's kind of related is that a good idea is when you get to a Walmart or a Cracker Barrel or something like that, is you kind of want to just show up, close everything up, lock the doors, and then you are inside and nobody knows who's in here. But with a dog, then you have to, at some point, open it back up and go back out and take her for a walk, let her out before we go to sleep or whatever. And that sometimes doesn't always feel like the safest thing. It's such a bummer that we have to think about this, that this is something that we have to worry about, but girls have to worry about that. Con, she takes up a lot more room in the bed. So I end up sleeping on this third and she ends up taking the other 2/3. It happens every night. I don't know how it happens. And I wake up every morning. My back hurts, my hips hurt. I'm laying in weird positions. Another con. It's a small one, but it is a con. I have to carry all her gear as well. As you can imagine, living in a van, it's limited space. So having her gear in here as well as mine, it just takes up more space. Again, it's not a big con, but it is something to think about. Pro, constant entertainment. Come here, you're gonna fall in. Sailor, come. Just constant entertainment with the dog. When she gets to run free, it's just fun to watch her. Go. And another little pro that I really like is because I like to shoot photos and video, obviously. She makes such a good model. I have something to photograph because a lot of times I don't want it to be me, which is funny because I have a YouTube channel. I realize that having something to photograph, to shoot video of is also a really nice benefit of traveling with a dog. Sailor is very sensitive. She is one of the more intuitive dogs that I have ever met. She is very aware. All these things that I learned how to do with my old dog to make sure that, you know, as an alpha male, he didn't try to overpower me. I instantly learned it was a bad idea. She does not take kindly to punishment in that sort of way. So we had to develop our own formula on how to kind of understand each other. I get a lot, people are like, wow, she really responds well to you, she listens to you, but I can't take credit for a lot of that. We did do training, of course, but a lot of how she is just her temperament. It's just how she was born. She's very patient, except when, if we are hiking and I stop to take photos or video or tie my shoe or drink water or anything, she starts complaining immediately. Whining is a big problem. We're still working on it. I got really lucky with her. I think this is a common question whenever anyone thinks about a dog or a pet in a vehicle, and it's a really good question to ask. For one thing, because I do live out of my van when I'm working, I only pick jobs where I know the temperatures aren't going to be crazy high in the summer, crazy low in the winter. Her safety is my #1 priority. The only reason I put 2 fans in here is because of Sailor. 2 Air Max fans. Nope. 2 Max Air fans. I'm very careful about where I select to live because of that reason. This is my daily driver, so when I go to work, I drive the van and I park, and that gives me the option of checking on her multiple times throughout the day. So I'll have the fans going, I'll have the windows cracked, I can still come in during lunch or on a break, check on her, make sure she's okay, take her out for a walk, do all those things. So it's nice to have that option of going to let her out because where I work and live is so close together. So that's another way that I have personally been able to make it work. If it is a really exceptionally hot day, there are options for me. I will have other rangers take her in for the day. So I'm really fortunate in that I have that option. As far as hiking goes, you have to know where dogs are not allowed. Generally, in national parks, dogs are only allowed in campgrounds, on paved paths, certain areas of the park, so you are severely limited in national parks. Do I still go to national parks? Yes. There's a big space in here in the van where she can stay. She's comfortable in here. I can go do things. Can I go do a 8-hour hike or an overnight hike? No, but I know that, so I plan accordingly. There are also a lot of Forest Service lands and Bureau of Land Management or BLM land where pets are allowed. There are different rules depending where you are, but as a whole, traveling to Forest Service or BLM land is going to be a lot easier with a pet. Generally, what I'll do is I'll visit a national park where I will do my thing. I'll do shorter hikes, come back and check on her, take her out, do her things, take her where she's allowed to go, and then surrounding those parks are generally Forest Service or BLM land, and then we can go and do her hikes there or do longer hikes, explore more. Also, hikes, if they are going to be longer ones that I want to do in a place where I can't take her, I will do those hikes early in the morning or later in the evening when it's cooler out. I think that pretty much covers it. In conclusion, I think the pros of traveling with a dog far outweigh the cons. I do think you have to do a lot more planning and a lot more thought has to go into it. I'm constantly checking on her, making sure she has access to water, the temperatures are right, she's getting enough exercise, she is mentally stimulated. All these things are things that you wouldn't have to take into account if you didn't travel with a dog or a pet. So you do have to change your entire way of life. But I think it's the same situation if you get a dog in general. You have to change your lifestyle. You have to change things in order to accommodate them. So I make it work in the van by picking places where it is easier for me to live. And I travel to places where I know that she can go, or at least there's somewhere nearby that she can go and she can stay in the van safely and comfortably. With all that being said, I still think that it is amazing. I think it's so great having her here and traveling with her. I know you hear this all the time, but a reminder, adopt, don't shop. I am on number 2 of shelter dogs that I have saved, and it's the most rewarding feeling for me, for her, for the whole system. There are so many unwanted pets. So if you are not buying a dog, a specific breed for like a purpose like hunting or something, definitely consider adopting. There are so many dogs that are available. There are so many options that don't require you spending $2,000 on a purebred when you can get one on sale for 35 bucks. So highly recommend adopting if you can. I don't know. I think that's about it. So I hope you got something out of this. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.
No, you shouldn't. I don't want you to.
Loud people.
What are you doing? It's not a jab. I just asked because my shit's in your car and I